Welcome to Muslim Apologetics Australia. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate a quick example of why feminism equals hypocrisy. A lot of these sisters, unfortunately, who associate themselves with the feminist ideology, in real life situations, they are the first ones to disown their feminist ideologies. And I'll give you an example. Now, whenever there's a Facebook post that advises men to stay away from certain women, a lot of these Muslim hijabi or feminist sisters, they will be triggered by this. How dare you advise men? How dare you speak negative of women? I mean, why don't we speak about the bad qualities of men? These same feminists, you'll see an example of this in this post, and I'm going to show you an effective way where it exposes them. So, for example, Selena puts a post up advising certain men to stay away from women who have these certain bad qualities. So the post reads, "Brothers, do not marry 7 types of women. One of those women are women who whines, moans and complains and ties a band around her head all the time, complains of a headache or some illness, but in reality she is not sick. Rather, she is faking it. Number 2, the woman who bestows favors, gifts upon her husband, then at that time of the future says, I did such and such for you or on your behalf because of you. Number 3, the woman who yearns or craves for her former husband or children of the former husband. Number 4, the woman who has a brand mark on the nape of the neck, has a bad reputation of doubts about her. Number 5, the woman who casts her eyes at things, always looking at something to purchase, then desires it and requires her husband to buy it, no matter what. Number 6, the woman who spends much of her day enhancing her face and beautifying it to such an extent that it will seem like it's been manufactured. Number 7, the women who talk excessively. Taken from the book of Manual of Marriage by Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen. Now, instead of the sisters saying, that was a great post, thank you for advising the brothers, yes, these women should be avoided, this is bad character of women, of some women, not all women, thank you for the post, and leave it at that. But no, instead, they are so triggered that they write, for example, what about the book, do not marry 7 or more types of men, right? So, a negative comment, I mean, all she could have said is that was a great post. Thank you for advising men not to marry certain women. But no, it wasn't a thank you. It wasn't, that was a great advice. It was, no, now talk about 7 qualities of bad men. I mean, this is clear sign of a triggered feminist. So I wrote back, and this is what I said. Dana, I said, the funny thing about feminism who are triggered by this post for advising men to be careful about marrying certain types of women, if your own son grows up and tries to marry a girl who has these same bad, poor characteristics, you would most likely warn your own son against these types of women as well. And God forbid, if your own son has a divorce, you would most likely side with him instead of siding with your own same sex. And with certainty, blame his ex-wife for having all these bad characteristics and how it's all her fault and not your son's. Feminists will suddenly give up on siding with their own sex soon as their own loved ones are impacted or hurt by a woman. I see this all the time in breakups. Feminism is hypocrisy in real life situations. And Dana writes back and says, who told you I'm a feminist? And I hear this all the time. And I put a meme up from Muslim Skeptic which says, "Stop calling me a feminist. I'm not a feminist." Iceberg, but her feminist views. In reality, when she has nothing to say, she says, "Shaheen, inshallah you get over your trauma." And I say, Ameen. Inshallah you get over your trauma as well. Thank you. So that is the most effective way of exposing the hypocrisy of these feminists. You know, they'll come out and constantly backstab and talk about men and how bad they are and how dare Muslim men talk about the negative qualities of some Muslim women. But in a real life situation, if something happened and their own son was affected by a woman, they would side with their own sons. This is the hypocrisy of these feminists.